Take your time.
For me, originally, I was going to pop because he seemed very hesitant when it came to me. And then I heard him talking about like body physiques and stuff like that, which is fine. Like,
Yo, fellas, you having a conversation with a lady and you're like, yo, she is so pretty. Like, you can't stop thinking about this woman is gorgeous. So your words, you want them to come out as smooth as possible. And she asks you a question and you're like, dang, I think I sounded kind of nervous or I didn't really sound like myself. Yo, this dude right here is about to give y'all a perfect example of how to handle a situation when you're talking to pretty women.
Actually do track those as well.
Okay. What do you like to do for fun?
So jet skis, dirt bikes.
Okay.
I like to play pool,
Okay.
swimming, going to the beach, and I like to dance.
All right. Now, what do you look for in a woman?
I look for a caring woman,
Okay.
someone that's kind, considerate, knows what she wants out of life, creative. Yeah.
Okay.
And a nurturer.
All right. Now, what are some of your deal breakers?
Lack of empathy. I'd say selfishness.
Okay.
Not having vision, a purpose for your life.
Okay.
And I'd say that's it for now.
Okay. No, that's good.
But you
All
may
right.
not even notice what he keeps on doing while he's talking. And it's something that a lot of people don't do, which is very valuable. He is pausing. Every time he has a moment that Arlette asks him a question in front of all of these ladies, he pauses and then he answers. The reason why that pause is so important is because it makes everybody tune in into whatever the next thing you're about to say is going to be. Instead of you rushing to give an answer and sounding nervous or sounding anxious, you look a lot more confident and in control of the conversation because you've created some type of anticipation of the next words that you're going to use. And you look more calculated when you speak. See, a lot of times when we're talking to a pretty woman or a pretty lady, we feel the need to have a quick response in conversation. But using this pause, it flips the script of who's in control of the conversation, who's creating the flow of the conversation. These small cues will make you feel a lot more confident. Before you quickly answer whatever she's asking you, pause. That's a good question. Well, my favorite date, if I could say anywhere, would probably be somewhere we could have really good conversation. Because I don't really like to go places where, you know, we can't really talk like the movies. So maybe like an arcade or something like that. I don't want to spend too much money because I want to actually get to know you. I don't want you to fall in love with my dollars. Threw a pause in there that was like okay. It created a little bit of stress in the conversation. But then when it was time for me to speak, it was very much thought out and something that you could walk away with. Pay attention to how he does this throughout the clip.
All right. So we do have 5 remaining ladies. Go ahead and ask them a question to help you narrow it down.
Pause. No rush.
In a society that I would say glorifies extrinsic values such as wealth and social status, what would be an intrinsic value that is important to you?
Pay attention to how he rewarded us for his pause. See, a lot of time we think that by pausing in a conversation, we're coming off awkward. But when you pause in a conversation and then give great substance, we value your pauses. We allow your pauses. Your pauses are now acceptable. Instead of you rushing through conversation, what would you rather this man have done? Would you rather him hurry up and reply or him thinking about his reply and then giving an answer? Doesn't it make him come off a little bit more thoughtful in his response? Like, oh, okay, this guy actually thinks. Like, he's a thinker. But a lot of times we mess up by thinking we need to hurry up and reply.
Let's start here. Name and age.
Hey, my name's Shalane. I am 32 years old.
And Shalane, what do you do?
I am an office manager for like a really big company, and I also model part-time to supplement that income.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and just answer his question.
I'm thinking empathy maybe would be a good answer. Like, I kind of forgot the question.
You want me to repeat it for you?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so what would be an intrinsic value that is important to you?
Okay, yeah, so my answer stands. It would be empathy. I think navigating this society, this world with empathy is super important because it allows you to like understand people and just you're able to kind of relate to people more, just have more compassion towards people. And I think having compassion towards your fellow humans is super important. So that's something I put high value on.
I appreciate your answer.
Your name and age.
Hi, my name is Lynn. I'm 28.
And Lynn, what do you do?
I'm a design engineer.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and just answer his question.
What do you mean by intrinsic?
Okay, so extrinsic would be in the realm of social status, popularity, wealth. So basically the opposite of that, something you can't see physically off, initial, something that's like internal.
That I value?
Yes.
Okay. For me, I would say humbleness. Just based off what I do for work and how far I've come, I would say that I'm very humble with where I am today. And I just feel like...
Take your time.
Yeah, I would say humbleness just because like life is short and you never know the different paths that people walk. So I'd never judge a book by its cover, regardless of how much money you have or how much money you don't. I just feel that everyone should just be humble. And yeah, I would say humbleness. Yeah. Based off like my lifestyle and and kind of like my day to day, I don't feel that I'm better or lesser than anyone. It's kind of just like, I just view everyone as equal, essentially. Yeah, it's humbleness. Yeah.
I appreciate your answer and your transparency. And you say you were 28?
Yes, 28.
Beautiful.
All right, let's go over here. Your name and age.
Pay attention to how his pacing, his confidence, his slow to answer, his well thought out answers is creating an expectation of, think about your answer before you speak to me. Don't just speak fast. So now when she was trying to have an answer, it was like she was really trying to think about it, and he handled it perfectly because everything is happening at his pace. No, take your time. Let her know this is not a time to rush. Conversations, this whole point of this video right now, I want y'all to know, is even when you're nervous, even when you're in a stressful situation, understand that conversations are not supposed to be rushed. And the best way for you to control or be the person in the driver's seat of a conversation is to control the pacing of the conversation. A woman walks up to you at the bar. She says, "Ooh, what you drinking?" Look at your drink. You ain't even gotta like look at her yet. You don't have to hurry up, look at her like, bourbon and Coke. Look at your drink. Mix it around a little bit, maybe take a sip. Take your time. She's seeing all of this happen. But when you finally speak to her, you put your drink down. This is a little bit of Black Label and Coke. It's one of my favorite drinks because it helps you wake up without any type of hangover or anything like that. Wow, what you drinking? You all up in my cup. Play with her a little bit. But you don't want to answer super fast because you feel like you have to answer fast because she will then control the pacing of the conversation. What are you drinking? Oh, Black Label and Coke. What about you? Now you're putting it back on her because you're too scared to control the pacing of the conversation. So it's whatever she wants to do next. This is an easy way to control any conversation, honestly. And when I say control, I don't mean control like strong arm. I mean feel more confident, feel more like you're in the driver's seat. A pretty woman, she lives through pretty things every day. Men see her and they automatically try to say whatever they believe is going to impress this woman. You have to have this attitude about yourself like I'm used to being around pretty women. That doesn't mean you have to be arrogant and throw that in women's face, but it's like treat her like a human. Just have a conversation. When she comes up to you with a question, you could bounce back with another question like, where I'm from, where you think I'm from? You know? Like, just conversation should be fun. It should not be straightforward and yes, no answers and one-worded answers. Like, after you say where you're from, let's just say a girl comes up to you, say, hey, where you from? And you know you're from Florida. Oh, I'm from Florida. Where you from? Okay, so now what? Now she's going to answer saying, well, I'm from Miami. I'm from Miami. Or I'm from New York. Okay, now what? No, conversation has to have some type of fun. That's why you pause. Where am I from? Where you think I'm from? Well, I mean, I don't know you for real. Like, so, you know, that's why I asked. Well, I know. Well, let's make it fun. Like, take a guess. Where you think I'm from? Well, by the way you're dressed, I'm going to say you're probably from up north. Like, you're supposed to play with conversation, control the pacing of conversation. That's the whole point of me reacting to this video, because this man put on a masterclass on how to control the pacing.
All right. So why did you have your balloon unpop?
So I wanted to hear him out. I think he's a well-versed person. But for me, originally, I was going to pop because he seemed very hesitant when it came to me. And then I heard him talking about like body physiques and stuff like that, which is fine. You like what you like. So me just thinking of the lineup, I'm like, okay, he has a better, stance with other beautiful women compared to me. So that's what it was. That was my thought.
Got it. So why Jenna popping her balloon?
I'll be honest with you.
Perfect.
When I saw you do that pump fake, I was like,
yo, pay attention, fellas. This is a master class. So many dudes get flustered and nervous when it comes to answering this question. Like, why'd you pop her balloon? Because, I mean, it is hard to say why you're rejecting somebody. But when you just pause, you already have it in your mind, like, Arlette, I understand you asked the question, but the next few seconds is about to come when I'm ready. It'll have substance, but it'll come when I'm ready. Once it comes to me, once I'm calm, then I'll reply. But when I reply, the whole room will feel it. Pay attention to how he drew us in with his pause. Fellas, I want y'all to use this when y'all talking to the ladies.
Compared to me. So that's what it was. That was my thought.
He's going to pause
So why
and then
Jenna popping her balloon?
reward us. Look at this.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw you do that pump fake, I was like, yeah, I didn't even have to think after that.
Money.
At first, it was hard because I was really examining all three exceptional options. All three of you are my type. You get what I'm saying? So I see beauty in different ways. So maybe one thing might not fit me, but maybe you might fit me. So I just popped basically because I saw you do the pump fake, like you about to pop it. So I was like, you know what? If you're hesitant about me, then I'd rather go with someone that's sure.
Yes, definitely. We're besties.
Great answer.
We were thinking the same thing. You pump faded
Yeah, we locked in
You
for
did it
that.
first.
Yeah.
But yes.
All right, we good.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Okay, Shad, go ahead and ask our two remaining ladies another
Confidence is
question.
yelling. He's not the tallest guy. Like, he doesn't have all his hair, but his confidence is commanding the room. Pay attention, fellas, how his confidence, his patience is commanding the room. So everybody's drawn into him. This is not about the ladies. This is about him. Too many guys get up there and the ladies is kind of picking and chewing on him. There's a reason why these ladies is holding their balloons. Because they could feel his confidence. Fellas, ladies can feel when you're confident in conversations. They can feel when you're rushing. They can feel when you're just giving an answer because you thought that was the right answer. This is a great example, fellas. I want y'all to steal this.
Do you value romance?
Ladies, another question.
Watch him take his time. So we think we weird when we
Do
pause.
you value romance? And if you do, what would be a romantic date in your mind? from start to finish, what would your ideal romantic date be?
Okay, start there and then come back.
You don't even remember him
All
pausing.
right.
So a romantic date for me would,
You don't even remember him pausing. See, a lot of times when we pause, we think we're awkward. We think, oh my God, I hope they don't notice I'm quiet. Oh, I hope I don't look like I don't know what I'm talking about. You seen that man's pause. I seen the man's pause. I don't even remember the pause. All I remember was the question he asked because he took his time to ask it. He took his pause, created the tension, and then rewarded me for being patient. That's the same thing comedians do. What comedians do at the end of a joke. So this is the way comedians work. Like if you never knew how a comedian forms their jokes, they do a build-up that creates some type of tension. Like, okay, where is this going? And then they slowly, or they just pause to really create the tension, create an expectation in your head of what they're about to say next, and they say the opposite of what you think, which creates relief because the tension is off because now they have spoken, and then it creates humor because they said something that was against what you thought they would say. It's the same thing that people use in comedy that
well, I
keeps
don't know.
people
I would say I'm
entertained.
very easygoing. We can honestly do whatever. It really depends on how attentive we are to each other. If we're actively listening, you could even just pick an apple off the tree and just tell me to eat it. And I know it sounds real corny, but I'm someone who's real simple. Like we can just take a walk in the park, have a really in-depth conversation. So, and then in the night under the stars, maybe just sitting on a blanket. So.
Great answer.
Great answer. This is a fact.
Great answer.
All right, and over here.
Piggybacking maybe on her Don't Be Cheap Now. I like really elevated like dining experiences. So maybe a nice dinner, but then after dinner being able to like go dancing, whether it be like salsa. I really love like soca music. Yeah, so an activity and food in combination would be nice.
Okay.
Ladies,
Great answer.
I'm gonna switch it on over to them now. So, ladies, any questions for him? You have one? Okay.
Yeah, I have
See how
several.
quick he
Go for it.
replies.
Okay.
Does he jump when she
My
asks
first
the question?
one is, do you
Let's
partake
see.
in any what's it called? Any drug use of any kind?
No, I do not.
That's an easy one. Yeah, that's easy.
Oh, I can keep going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was gonna be thought provoking.
What is if you are a man of faith, like what is your faith in, like what does your day-to-day look like with spending time with God, if that's something that you do?
Okay, so I'm a Christian, and basically my day-to-day walk would be me waking up in the morning. First thing I do, I have like a bottle of water by my bed. I drink that. I pray to God, thank him for waking me up this morning, for giving me all my faculties on my body are in perfect working order. A lot of people take that for granted, to be able to just wake up and get out of your bed on your own will and to be healthy, So I don't take.
Pay attention to how his answer, it does seem like as if he would be a little bit anxious, just a little bit, but the way he's answering with so much substance, it's kind of pushing whatever anxiousness he may have. You may not even notice it. You may not even notice that he's even a little bit nervous because what he's saying has substance. So even if you feel like you have a little bit of anxiousness, have an actual answer. Have an actual answer for the topic. Don't have a anxious answer. You're answering fast. You're also nervous, and then your answer is real flat. Because all of that will be seen. It's just like, okay, this is awkward, and your answers is very much childlike. Pace yourself and reply with substance.
Here with us. Yeah, you scoot that way. If you stand over here. All right, y'all. Any final question between the two of you before we determine if this is a match?
Yes. How do you feel about celibacy?
I'm guessing you're saying celibacy towards marriage, or?
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I'm a Christian man, so I respect that, and that's not a deal breaker for me because I have built up a emotional intelligence, and my just I don't have any I don't have anything against that.
Have you ever practiced celibacy?
Yes, I have.
While in a relationship?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And was it successful? I mean, sometimes it's not. I mean, God gives grace.
Yeah, so you're saying, have I practiced celibacy in a relationship and was it successful?
Yes. Were you?
Another trick in conversation, and he's using it. If you really are caught off guard by the question, you could pause and repeat the question back to the person so they can reiterate what exactly they mean by that, giving you more time to reply. These are all things you can use, fellas, when you're talking to a pretty woman, and it helps you be more interesting in conversation.
Successful in the celibacy?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Okay, why'd you end up
Popping is
popping?
crazy.
I think it was the hesitation at the beginning about the celibacy, and then when you were explaining like your day-to-day like walk with the Lord, I think prayer is one aspect, but I'm also looking for someone who like incorporates like reading their Bible into that as well, because I think it can be hard to hear from God. Like, yes, we're praying, but it can be hard to hear from God if we're not also reading his word. And that wasn't something that you mentioned. So I think it's the combination of the two.
Okay, I respect that. I mean, I do read my Bible. Okay. It's just in the unconventional setting that we're in right now, it slipped my mind. I'm not going to remember every little thing, every little detail.
That's fair, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But if you would have asked me that, I would have, gracefully just answered and tell you, yes, I do read my Bible at some point during the day.
Okay.
Yes.
Alrighty. Well, we'll have you head on back. Okay.
That's always so weird to me. When you make an assumption and you pop your balloon based off the assumption and somebody debunks what your assumption was because you didn't ask, and you just say, okay, well, all right. And you just walk back instead of saying, oh, let me get my balloon back. If that was the one thing that made you pop or walk away from a possibility of having a good man, and then he debunks what your assumption was, why aren't you leaving with him then? Look at Arlette in his face.
Okay, Shad. Well, that is all the balloons popped, unfortunately, but we do thank you so much for coming. Let's give it.
But shout out to that brother right there, man. He gave a perfect example of how to handle yourself when you're talking to women, when you don't know the answer immediately, how to control the pacing of a conversation, how to draw the room into you, how to have that confidence that makes the room want to know the next thing that you're going to do by pacing, taking your time, even when you're nervous. A pause is one of the easiest ways to own a conversation. It's not when you rush, when you sound like you're the quickest person that can answer. Nah, it's when you take your time. Think about a poet. A poet takes their time when they speak, but you can't wait to hear their next words. That's how it should feel when somebody talks to you. It should feel like, man, when this man talks, it is poetic. He takes his time, and then at the end of the pause, he rewards me with such beautiful descriptive words of his original thoughts, not what he thinks I want to hear. That is the easiest way to grab a woman's ear and be invested in you in the conversation. Now, if a woman is just not interested in this type of conversation, then, I mean, she just wants to, have surface level conversation. But remember, you remain you everywhere you go. You don't become corny because you're talking to a corny woman. No, you speak poetry as if you're speaking to a poetic, understanding woman. How you practice is how you play. Anyways, it's been your boy TybuggyTV. I hope y'all learned something from this video. Please hit that subscribe button, that like button, all that good stuff. Now, until next time, man, I'm out of here.